Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And the director of Indiana Jones 5, James Mangold, said his feelings were hurt by the movie's mixed reception. His feelings were hurt.
I think the fans' feelings were hurt, which is why they didn't go see the dang movie.
Yeah, this movie did not make a lot of money, guys. Not for an Indiana Jones movie. And a lot of people said, no, it's going to be fine. Everybody loves Indiana Jones. I'm like, nah, do they really? Now, do they want to see him at 80? They didn't want to see him at 65. I don't think they wanted to see him at 80. But
I just think a lot of the reasons people didn't go see it was because of the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah, Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of people didn't go see it. That's a huge reason why people didn't. And again, this is one of those movies that, regardless of the quality of the film, the final film, the damage was done preemptively because of, Phoebe Waller-Bridge running at the mouth and, all the drama around Kathleen Kennedy. And, let's not forget that Kingdom of the Crystal Skull exists. And people saw that and they thought it was dog shit. Not to mention all the character assassination, with Indiana Jones and his family and his friends. And, it's just people they weren't feeling it. We don't need this. We got closure for Indiana Jones actually in The Last Crusade. We didn't even need Crystal Skull. Nope.
And you can go out to the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, and we saw an older Indiana Jones, with the eye patch and all that stuff. And
they wrapped it up there too.
Right. And he didn't lose an eye. He needed to lose an eye.
So this just was a Disney cash grab. It didn't work.
Exactly.
People felt it. It took forever and a day to get this movie out. They kept making changes. The rumors around it, didn't help. They undid, they finally put him and Marion together. They undid that issue. Yes. They put it back together, I guess. But, there was a lot. It was very unnecessary. People didn't want to see it. The trailers weren't that great. And then I said Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I think a lot of it was Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge was huge.
But the audiences didn't go. And I'm sorry your feelings were hurt. But you can't say, my feelings were hurt because people went, the ones that did go didn't like it. Well, that's kind of goes with the territory. You don't have to like it just because you worked hard on it.
Yeah, I mean, what are you supposed to do? Like, next we're going to have, Joker 2, like the director, Todd Phillips is like, my feelings are hurt. Nobody liked my movie that, we knew nobody would like. I made a movie to make people angry and nobody liked it. Oh my God, what am I going to do? So let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to clownfish-com. Check out our merch. We got lots of merch here. We got exclusive content on Clownfish Minus. Got some more podcasts coming. Also, you can get that same content on clownfishtv.locals.com. So I'm going to remind you that Indiana Jones 5 lost $134 million.
Mm-hmm. Because they had so many reshoots. They had to redo everything because people didn't like it. And
everything was CGI.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, the rumors were that there was a different ending and stuff like that. And people just, Cal works hard on making manure, but it's still manure.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, James Mangold, he does good work, but, this is just, I know it sounds cliche. Nobody asked for this, but literally after Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, nobody wanted another Indiana Jones movie. Mm-mm. And that one did significantly better than this one. And that one had aliens in it. All right. Spoiler. But yeah, so this comes from CBR. They said Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny received a lukewarm reception following its May 2023 release. Has been that long.
Yeah.
Over a year later, director James Mangold says the harsh criticism still stings. According to Mangold,
a year and a half later.
Wow. According to Mangold, fans were simply unable to accept an older indie.
Yeah, that's what it was. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think that's really the issue. I think it's just that, again, we already had an older indie. We had an indie in his 60s in the last movie, Crystal Skull, and people didn't like that one either. And why would you even go back? I mean, the only thing I could think is if you had George Lucas himself and Steven Spielberg himself getting together and saying, you know what, let's give Indy a proper send-off, then maybe, but they worked
we already did it twice, but let's do it again.
Let's end it for realsies this time. This is like Futurama, right? Like, they cancel Futurama and then they bring it back, and then they cancel it again and then they bring it back. And by the time it comes back, for the third or fourth time, nobody wants to watch it anymore. It's just end it and move on to something else. This is totally a cash grab. They said, yeah, so I'm making a movie about this guy in his 80s, but his audience on one other level doesn't want to confront their hero at that age, the filmmaker told Deadline. And I'm like, I'm good with it. We made the movie, but the question is, how would anything have made the audience happy with that other than having to start over again with a new guy?
Well, that wouldn't have worked either.
Don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. The answer is don't do it. That was, people kept telling you, and then Phoebe Waller-Bridge was a big mistake and everything else too. And just don't.
Yeah. And this is the thing. Like, why do we have to keep going back to the same well again and again and again? Again, Indiana Jones came about because George Lucas and Steven Spielberg were inspired by these, pulp action heroes, from the 30s and 40s growing up. Star Wars came about because of their influences growing up, and a lot of the science fiction that Steven Spielberg did, growing up, his influences.
A lot of growing up.
But I'm just saying, like, they created new stuff based on things they loved as kids. And I feel like we're not doing that now. We're just going back to the same thing again and again. But they also had a personal connection to this stuff. Star Wars and Indiana Jones and Steven Spielberg with, E.T. and Close Encounters and all those movies and stuff. They had a personal connection. They made the movies they wanted to make because they had a personal connection to it. Disney has no personal connection to any of this stuff. And you might have liked Indiana Jones as a kid, and he talks about that, but the thing to do is to make something new. Like, yeah, I want something that feels kind of like Indiana Jones, but isn't Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? And that's I want something that kind of calls back to Star Wars because I love Star Wars growing up, but it's not just more Star Wars. And that's, I think, the big mistake they're making. But again, these companies own these IPs, so they're gonna
they want their money.
Yep, pretty much. Mangold got to meet Harrison Ford and director Steven Spielberg. The negative reception dampened the experience. Here come lifelong heroes from my childhood into my life going, we have something for you to work on. It was a joyous experience.
Good. No one can take that away from you.
Yeah, nobody can take that away from you. But it hurt in the sense that I really love Harrison and I wanted audiences to love him as he was and accept that this is part of what the movie has to say.
The thing is, people don't, that wasn't that they don't like Harrison Ford. You guys keep, saying it was unnecessary. I mean, no one wants to see an old Indiana Jones. It wasn't even that. I don't think his age was even the problem because he de-aged him to other stuff.
Yeah.
It was because the movie took so long to come out. Everybody thought they'd already seen it. There was so much negative, press and negative feelings around the film. People just didn't go see it. Phoebe Waller-Bridge was in it, and it seemed like it was about her and being the next indie. People didn't go see it. Yeah. It's more to do with that. And even the ones that did, they didn't think it was that terrible. But the thing is, it's like people just didn't. There wasn't enough give a shit.
That's pretty much it. I think. I mean, that's kind of where it feels like Star Wars is too, where there just isn't any give a shit. There's no excitement around it, and you can only burn people so many times. Again, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull did a lot of damage to Indiana Jones. A lot of people don't even consider it part of canon. They're like, yeah, they made an Indiana Jones movie way after the fact, and it was a very bad idea. And then when they said, hey, we're going to make another one, it's like, why? Why would you do that?
They're also making it clear that it was like his last adventure and it was his swan song, all that stuff. And people are like, well, I don't want to see him like that. I'd rather remember Indiana Jones, like something to do with Harrison Ford. It's like, I'd rather remember Indiana Jones as what Indiana Jones was, not like, trying and he's like 80-some years old. And it's not any offense to older people. It's just like, basically we let that chapter end. We let that rest. There's no sense to bring it back. And we can love what we love, but we also understand that time marches on. Right, and you don't want to see your heroes struggle,
Yeah. Nobody wants to see sad old Indiana Jones. Nobody wants to see sad old Luke Skywalker.
Well, they did want to see them. I think that's part of it too, is what they did in Star Wars. People know what they did there and how they ruined that whole putting the two together. So they're probably like, oh, Indiana Jones is going to be more of the same. And then plus it was Lucasfilm, and Lucasfilm has a reputation for being, crap anymore.
Lucasfilm, that's their new tagline.
We're crap.
Lucasfilm, we're crap. It's what we get for living near San Francisco, right? We're crap. Yeah, I mean, it's just a mixed bag. And again, I think it's very hard to take this stuff away from the people that made it, that cared about it, that had a personal interest in it, and go just make more of it. It's very weird. Actually, a lot of this stuff reminds me of like direct to DVD sequels. Like it's not the same people working on it. It feels like a cash grab. All of it, like the Star Wars stuff and all that. It's just like George Lucas isn't involved anymore. Steven Spielberg's not really that involved anymore. So why do it other than money? But they have a game coming out too, and because of it, I've actually heard the game isn't bad. the new Indiana Jones game. I think it comes out this week. People said it wasn't that bad, but the thing is, again, it's that lack of give a shit. Mm-hmm. Like, nobody cares about this franchise now. So,
or if they do, they want to just watch the old ones.
Yeah, they'll watch the old ones. But I think retroactively, when they do this and they do harm to these franchises, it actually does hurt. I think it hurts the rewatchability of the old stuff. Because I've told people before, Star Wars, like, I don't even watch the original trilogy anymore. And that kind of breaks my heart, but like I have no desire to watch it because I know where it ends now, and I don't like where it ends, and I know that, like, especially like Mark Hamill's just out there like just constantly going about politics.
That doesn't help either.
I mean, Harrison Ford's not as bad about it, but just it is a product of its time, made by people that were trying to recapture their childhoods, and the thing to do now is just make new stuff. Mm-hmm. But that's hard. We don't want to do that.
Or do more young Indiana Jones or something, like he was, younger when there wasn't as much. There is, but a lot of people didn't watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have more to work with.
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna wrap this up.
Yes.
There we go, guys. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.